What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That, of course, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We are back with another amazing episode. Can't wait for my guests to get in here. Super stoked. Another guy from another band that I absolutely love, and he's here now, so we'll get him in here. We'll chop it up with him. I'm super excited. You're super excited. We're super excited. You just got to get your camera up. That's all. Are you able to hear me? There you go. There they are. Hold on a second now. Hold on. You just got to undo your microphone. Bottom of the screen.
There we go. We
got
it. We got it.
Thank God technology is making the world a better place, right?
Dude, I'm a caveman with this stuff.
So, hey, listen, I do a podcast, and I'm a caveman with this stuff. So no need to feel bad, man. I got no business doing multiple podcasts, I will say. And I don't know what I was thinking. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm doing this off my wife's phone, so it's like really foreign. So, I mean, I can't even do stuff like this on my phone.
No, you're doing great, man. You're doing great. No, you're doing great. I can hear you and see you good, man. Thank you for doing it. It's a pleasure to have you on here, man.
No problem.
Huge Crowbar fan. Had Matt on a couple of weeks ago, man. Always a great conversation with him too, man. Working on Kirk.
Yeah, man. He needs a little work sometimes and a little boot.
Well, just like most men, man, I'm going through Robin, man. You know what I mean? You got to go through the woman. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
It's all good, man. I mean, I try not to be lazy, and I try to stay motivated. As a matter of fact, I just got finished painting like almost my whole house, and I'm like literally, I paused the outside pressure washing to do this interview.
Yeah, I know that you were doing that, and I've been setting this up with your wife, and a couple weeks ago, I know that you were in the midst of painting your house. See, I know what's going on down there.
Yeah, man, I'm done. Thank God, it's like 1,000-pound weight off my back.
What a job, right?
Yeah, it is.
Easier to do it yourself than hire somebody, or do you just enjoy doing that?
Well, I do it. I started doing it a couple of years ago in the movie business in the union, doing set painting for movies.
Oh, okay.
And like, there's been no work for a couple of years since the strike, a minimal amount of work, and I haven't been able to get any. So hey, it's nice to have a little practice and the upkeep on my skills here at home.
How did you get into music, man? Did you grow up in a musical household?
What's funny is my dad claims, my mom said he played piano when he was a kid, and he told me he had a piano all the way up until Hurricane Camille, I think in like the 60s.
Okay.
I believe it was. I don't think it was the 50s. I think it was in the 60s. And he was taking piano lessons from a lady in the neighborhood that was a classical pianist, whatever, how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
And I guess he was getting really good, but when that hurricane hit that house, and it flooded that house, it flooded that piano. And he says he remembers dragging the piano to the curbside out on the street. And he said his parents never bought him another one, and that was the end of it. So maybe that's why they helped me out, my first drum set I got was like a 3-piece trap kit with the cymbal coming out of the kick drum with no floor tom, and the rack tom slipped on the post, literally slid on the arm. It was a little groove on the side of the tom. It was like something from the 70s, and my grandfather's wife at the time that he was married to after my grandmother, her son played in a band in Austin, Texas, and his drummer was selling that. So he bought it for me when I was 3 years old. They got the kit, they brought it to the house. I beat on that thing until it was falling apart. We put it in the attic for a few years, and my mom and dad went out to have dinner one night, and my uncle was babysitting me, and it was probably like 9 years old or something, and I aggravated the hell out of him to get the drums out of the attic. And once he got those drums out of the attic that night, my parents came home, the drum kit was set back up in the living room, and it was like, it wouldn't be denied. I was like, I was unstoppable, dude. I got my uncle to do it while my parents weren't home. I was like, I'm doing this.
Yeah, nice. Good manipulation tactic right there. Nice.
Well, nice. I saw a drum line in NP Trist Middle School when I was in elementary school. And when the elementary school took us to the middle school, and they were like, hey, this is where you're going next year. In your 5th grade year, this is where you're going to. And man, when that band, that middle school band brought out that drum line in the gymnasium, and they just tore it up, dude. They did like some cadence, and I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, that's what I have to do. I want to do that right there.
And
And sure enough,
so there was never going to be another instrument for you. It was the drums immediately.
I mean, I had a couple acoustics and like a little Fender Strat, but I couldn't even pick it up, so I got rid of all that stuff. And man, I just I just went back to the drums and I stuck with it because I was like basically self-taught. I was playing like Back in Black, like the whole record. I just played Back in Black, like from front to back in my mom and dad's house in my bedroom. And that's all I would do. I started kind of self-teaching myself from playing like it's the best thing ever, Phil Rudd, for AC/DC. So it was like from there, it was like AC/DC was like, of course, Kiss and AC/DC, but like that AC/DC kind of opened up the doors to like all metal
Yeah.
after that, Judas Priest and like Scorpions and of course Van
Oh,
Van Halen
yes.
and
And I don't know if you've noticed, man, but I am the one and only that I know of love child of Diamond David Lee Roth. You should be able to tell, right?
yeah, man, I that's
It's uncanny. Go ahead. You can say it.
yeah, man, you got some of the Roth lids still kicking.
Yeah, I do. Well, listen, man, the DNA testing is not conclusive yet, but I mean, up to this point, I'm 52 years old. He's been a deadbeat up to this point, but
Yeah, but I tell you, man, he was still Dave from the first six
yeah,
records,
yeah,
and those
he's the
six
best.
albums. I mean, those albums are like they never get old to me. They're
Never.
timeless. They're
Yeah,
timeless, and they never get old. And they're basically amazing. And like I heard this commercial on the radio on a 98.1 The Eagle from Baton Rouge, and it's funny, they always come up with the little funny voices with the funny sayings,
yeah,
and it's like, I'm convinced that all the best music has already been recorded already.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and
That
I'm
might
like,
be true. That might be true. Do you have a hard time, man? Do you have a hard time when you're listening to music? Are you able to find new music that excites you, or like what's your listening trend like when you're around the
um,
house? You fall back on your old
you,
standard?
what's so crazy is like coming from Soylent Green before Crowbar, I never listened to death metal. But the one band that grabbed me was Morbid Angel because of Pete Sandoval being such a great
Yeah,
blast grindcore drummer.
yeah,
And I got into Terrorizer, the first album, World Downfall, because the second one wasn't quite what the first one was. It was like, SOD doing Bigger Than the Devil was like, it's a
yeah.
good album, but it's not Speak English or Die. It's
Right,
not
right.
it's not anything like that legendary. But Morbid Angel's first couple albums were pretty legendary and like Covenant and Domination and so I got pretty heavily influenced by that, but like I'm more of a like more mainstream kind of guy. Like I like more mainstream acts like Judas Priest, Van Halen, Motley Crue, Rat, Dawkins,
Yeah,
Scorpions,
yeah,
Iron Maiden, Van Halen, you know, and the list goes on. Of course, all the obvious influences, AC/DC, except
yeah,
Def Leppard, and I like some underground bands like Icon from Phoenix, Arizona, Black and Blue from the glam metal days, the early stuff, which Tommy Thayer from Kiss came from.
sure,
But
sure.
like, but the newer stuff for me was like, so I guess what I'm trying to get at was like, I kind of stayed more in a mainstream direction as I got older. I was always more of a mainstream kind of listener and not so underground, even though I do have underground metal stuff. I got into like uh I didn't like Slipknot when I first heard them, but like when we went and played the Beast Feast in Japan, I remember this band that was riding in the shuttle bus back to the hotel, and the drummer was like, it was like a hardcore band or something. I can't remember. And the drummer was like, "Hey man, I got that new Slipknot. Y'all want to hear it?" And I was like, "Oh boy." I was like, "Here it goes, whatever." He's like, "Yeah." We were like, "Yeah, put it in, man." So like he put it in and it was like People Equal Shit was the intro with People Equal Shit. And I was like, holy crap. I'm like, is this the same band?
Yeah,
And like from that point on, I was like, I was a total Slipknot fan. It's crazy, dude. In 2001, in listening in Japan at the Beast Feast, coming back to the hotel. And then from that, it kind of spiraled onto Stone Sour because I found out Corey had another band called Stone
yep,
Sour.
yep.
So I
He
started
moonlights.
listening to Stone Sour. So it was like my two newer bands was like Slipknot and Stone Sour, but then I started actually listening to Godsmack because I found out that one of my favorite drummers got in the band, and it was Shannon Larkin. And
Okay.
I didn't know until I seen the Straight Outta Line video where they're like jamming in the garage, where the garage door like opens. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit! I'm like, it's Shannon Larkin. I was like, from that point on, I was like a huge Godsmack fan because he's such a great drummer. And then I got into like trying to think like I love Audio Slave. So Chris Cornell is one of my favorite vocalists ever.
Great. Great. Yeah.
So I put him up there, Robert Plant. You know, man, he's amazing. And so anyway, from the whole Audio Slave infatuation thing, when that Audio Slave project got put together in 2002, and it came out, and it was like, man, that was like a total breath of fresh air. It was something new. It was exciting. It was good.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said and done, I kind of went backwards on Rage Against the Machine because the whole band was the three musicians from Rage.
Right. Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of give the Rage Against the Machine stuff a chance because I never really got into it back in the 90s when it was hitting. So I went backwards on the Rage stuff. So from Audio Slave, it's weird, I became a Rage Against the Machine fan.
Yeah. They're great. Yeah. They're absolutely
You know,
amazing.
and it's like it's kind of weird for me because I'm not a real big rap rock guy, but I did listen to Biohazard crazily, dude. I was a huge Biohazard fan in the 90s. That
Yeah.
was the one band that kind of got me. The Urban Discipline record was amazing.
The best. The best. And they're about to
You
come
know?
out with new
Yeah.
music soon.
Well, we know
Yeah.
those guys, man. I know Danny's a great drummer, and of course, he was like he's like a friend of mine. Man, it's so fun every time we run into those guys unexpectedly.
I've had him on the podcast. I've had
Oh,
Danny on. Yeah.
that's such a great guy and such a great drummer.
And so before we talk all things Crowbar, man, what can you tell people about what's going on with Soilent Green? Now, a few months back, I had Brian on here, man, who was a great interview, by the way.
All right. Well, I don't know how much beans he spills, so I don't know if I need to watch what I say.
I don't think he spilled either because it was a couple months ago, and it's kind of a blur when you do so many of them. But I don't think he spilled a whole lot. I think he was pretty neutral on like, I think he was kind of non-committal.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to get things back together for starters. I mean, the process already has begun. I mean, we've already played shows. We've
Right.
done, I mean, we were nervous as hell, dude, for Milwaukee Metal Fest, especially me. But I felt like we were a little sloppy for that show, and I kind of felt bad because people came from across the world to see us at that show.
Yeah.
And but I mean, hey, it was honest and it was true, and we did the best we can. And it's just, I think it was a lot of nerves settled in for that show, being it was the first show that we didn't play in like 10 years or something like that. I think it's from 2014, I believe, was our
Yeah.
last show at Maryland Death Fest. So it was a little 10-year hiatus, and then we had played Maryland Death Fest again, and then we did geez, I'm forgetting, I'm leaving one out. We did California Death Fest, and we did a show at home here at Southport Hall, which was like sold out. It was crazy.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah.
Even Anselmo and his wife Kate came out to the show, dude. It was like everybody you can imagine from the old school days. Everybody, my God, Phil was there. Everybody came. It was so cool. It was jam packed in there. They had to turn people away at the door because they couldn't fit any more people in there.
Was there a Donovan Punch appearance?
No, man, but I'm like,
No Donovan.
I'm hearing rumors about Brian and Donovan have been talking a lot lately. So,
Yeah.
I already know the hopes of him getting back in the band and like playing like tours will never happen because he doesn't like touring, and he has a lot of kids from,
Yeah.
some different ladies. He's like a true life hippie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's something else, man. He's a character. I love that guy, and he's probably one of the most I won't say wasted talents, but like hidden talents and talents that'll probably never do anything again.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And just watching him, to watch him pick up an acoustic and just pluck it is amazing.
Dude, he blew out his right arm on an acoustic guitar, grindcore and on acoustics. He literally blew out his right arm for a while. He was having problems with his right arm from doing grindcore guitar playing on acoustic guitars.
I'm glad.
So
I'm glad you brought blowing out the arm, man. Because when you play extreme metal and you drum, I don't think people understand, man. The physicality of playing heavy music like that. You've been doing it a long time, man. How is your health held up? Because I've had a lot of drummers on here who have had to, improvise a little bit, maybe change the height of their stool, change the layout of their drums. How has it gone for you over the years?
no, I should have picked up my drum throne years ago. That's for Corey from God Forbid.
Yeah, yeah,
Because he always teases me when he sees me in Europe at a festival. He's like, "Hey man, they let you in the country with that childlike drum throne." I literally buy like the cheapest drum thrones ever, and I like a short drum throne, but now I'm actually endorsed by Porter and Davies drum thrones,
okay,
the butt kickers. So I went a route that I swore I'd never go, but I'm doing that now, and basically, I mean, I've had a lot of health problems in the past. I've had, prostate cancer. I've beat cancer. I've had a tumor cut off my nose like 10 days after Stacy and I's wedding.
yep,
Geez, I had two hernia screens. I have two hernia surgeries, 9 months apart. I went and got one in 2009, and then little did I know I had another one, and 9 months later I was back on the table getting another hernia screen. So,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've been pretty I, I call it my lower abdominal area, and then I've had a epididymiectomy on my left testicle. So
Yeah. It's
that's
fun
pretty
getting old. It's
brutal.
fun getting old, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of surgeries. So with that being said, done. I mean, I'm surprised for all the drumming that I've done, brutal drumming with crowbar, pounding like brutal drumming with crowbar, and like even more extreme brutal drumming with Soylent Green over the years. I finally started to have some problems at about age 50. I'm 55 now,
Yeah.
but I started getting like some stinging pain in my spine and my top of my neck and some neuropathy. And man, last year I took a real bad fall in a hotel in Germany. I slipped and fell in one of them old time hotels, and stupid me, instead of stepping on the one step that they had to step down, I stepped on like a luggage ramp, and it
Yeah.
was like ceramic tile. So
Oh,
man, it was in an atrium
ouch.
area that was
Yeah.
opened up, and it was like taking in some water, the area, so it was a little wet. The bottom of my shoes were wet, and man, I just kind of went, and what I did, it was like right foot, excuse me, in front of the left foot. And boy, when I did, it just twisted me and it whipped my whole right side of my body to the ground in about a half a second. I didn't even have time to put my arm out. I went like right hip, right shoulder, and my whole right side, my face hit the ground. It was pretty
Oh
brutal.
man.
It
Jesus,
was
man.
it was pretty brutal, man. Matt picked me up. He had to get me out of there, but he flipped me over and turned me over and gave me an ice pack and a pillow from the hotel. And then Kirk and Robin like saw the whole thing, and Robin screamed, and it was kind of crazy because I was pretty much out cold, but I could hear them talking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of got knocked out for about like 5 or 10 seconds, but I came to real quick. So I just kind of laid there and I was like, uh-oh. I'm like, man, I'm like thinking to myself, you're hurt. I'm like, don't
Yeah.
try to get up.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
was hurt.
Stay there for a
But
minute.
like, so, I put a little bit, I think I took a few more years off my body and put a few more miles on me with that fall, man. It was pretty brutal. So, for everybody out there in bands, you already know you got to be careful out there on tour. That's how
Oh
fast
yeah.
it can happen when you least expect it, man. People coming off of tour buses. I heard a story. Billy Idol played. I saw Billy Idol at the House of Blues years ago, and Steve Stevens was coming off the tour bus. He fell off the tour bus and broke his arm. Dude, do you know he played the show that night in a cast?
That's crazy. That's a
Steve
crazy.
Steve,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
played a show in a cast, dude. He played the show that night.
That's the
Amazing.
definition. I guess that's the definition of the show must go on right there.
Dude, totally respect. That dude's already one of the baddest axe players in the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah. Granted, he is. I mean, it's crazy to think though, man. Like this is year 20 for you in Crowbar.
21.
21. Yeah. Crazy.
21. I know. I think about it. I mean, Soylent Green had a little hiatus, and it was due to a lot of different things, And I remember like even calling up the label and talking to the vice president, Mike Faley from Metal Blade, was just like, "Hey, man, I got some things going on," and like he's just like, "Don't do anything stupid, Tommy."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, I think I just needed a long break, and lo and behold, I really, was sick. you know, because I told him I was feeling a little unhealthy and we was out there on tour and I was starting to like slack off on the drinking a little bit on purpose from the
Yeah.
partying and stuff like that. And it was just like, you know, when you start your body starts giving you some signs and you start getting some hunches that you're like not so healthy and you're feeling a little rough and run down,
Yeah.
you know, and sure enough, man, like 2 years later, that's when I found out I was sick, you know. So the label knows I wasn't lying, that's for sure. So
And so how does Kirk tap you, man? For people that don't know, how does Kirk tap you for Crowbar? Obviously, there must be history. He must, you know, he must have known you. You must have been on his radar, being in Soylent Green.
yeah, we go back to sheesh, man. I was playing in a Christian metal band, like literally playing in a Christian metal band called Divine Right. And we had just finished beating out like every metal band in the city for a contest at Ultrasonic Studio, where Kirk and Down actually recorded NOLA at. NOLA was
Okay.
recorded in that studio, but it no longer stands because Hurricane Katrina took it out, man. It flooded it and took it down. So I was 16 years old going in that studio because we won the contest. It was a recording studio contest from Ultrasonic about 24 hours. You know, if you send in your demo and you win, you got 24 free hours. So man, it was like literally Kirk's band, Victorian Blitz, his band, Victorian Blitz sent the tape in, Phil's band and Selmo's band, Razor White, they sent the tape in. Dude, the engineer and the owner of the studio, they literally found like they were listening to the lyrics and they called up my guitarist Gary Wilson. They were like, "Are y'all like Christian or something? Because like we listened to y'all lyrics, sound like you're singing about God or something." And Gary's like, yeah, man. He's like, we're a Christian metal band. You know, Striper was big at the time. You know, they were really hitting. And you know, of course, dude, I was a Striper fan. Robert Sweet is a pounder, dude. He's a
Yeah. Yeah.
smasher, dude.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
smashes the drums. I
Yeah.
love him.
A great band. Yeah, they are.
What a great drummer he is and was and still is. But so right then, you know, at that time, Kirk was friends with my guitarist, Gary Wilson from Divine Right. So right around the time when we did that recording, we went to Gary's girlfriend, Connie, at the time. She had a little house party at her parents' house. And we ended up going over there. And lo and behold, Kirk and his girlfriend were there. And it was like, we met that night. I was like 16, and Kirk's 5 years older than me. So he was 21. He had to be like 21. So it was like, man, I met Kirk at that point, and like we just became friends. It was like so funny when I finally got that call for Crowbar. I was like, I even said it in the home video. I was like, I told Kirk, I said, "Oh man, if you would have called me 20 years ago, I'd have been on every Crowbar record ever recorded,"
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's so crazy because Jimmy was the first drummer before Craig, which is ironic because I'm now married to Craig's sister,
Right.
Stacy,
Right.
which is insane because Craig was like on the first three Crowbar records, and
Right.
I'm married to the first recording Crowbar drummer.
Yeah.
I'm the first recording Crowbar drummer's sister. But yeah, so it was kind of like Jimmy, and then by the time they got signed, it was Craig, and then of course after Craig, it was Jimmy for like Broken Glass and Oddfellows Rest, which are my two favorite Crowbar records, by the way. That's the
Yeah.
ones that I didn't play on. That's my two favorite. And then you know, with I think I'm not sure how it went, if it was Sonic XS and then maybe Equilibrium, because I know Tony and I know Sid, both of them. God bless Tony because he passed away a few years ago. But Sid, both of them, and Tony were good friends of mine. You know, all the Crowbar drummers. And so you know, here I am, the fifth drummer now, and it's like, yeah, man, 21 years now. And I told Kirk, I'm like, if you would have called me, there would have been no other four.
Right.
But you
Right.
know, but Crowbar wouldn't have sounded like it should have sounded like, because I think, you know, Craig was perfect for the job in the early years. Like, you
Right.
know, he's
There's an evolution there.
well,
Yeah.
Craig's got a little bit more mechanical kind of drumming, but then he's also loose, very kind of spontaneous, like on the spot. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he'll throw shit in all over the place. Kirk said he was like really loose live. Kirk was like, man, he'd always like
Yeah.
sometimes be right on the edge of like coming back in on the one,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
live and almost missed the beat. He was throwing in so many drum fills, you
Now,
know,
when you guys get
drum
together
licks.
to make Crowbar music, man, I always think of Kirk as such a prolific guy. I mean, you know, he's one of those guys that's just you know, a riff machine. You know, can just churn them out. It seems like so effortlessly. But when you guys get together, man, what's the creative process like? You know, is it collaborative, or are all you guys having input?
Well, what in the earlier years, like the Seven of the Wicked Hand days, was more collaborative, if you will. But it's like lately since, like Symmetry and Black, and it's like, usually I was like holding a steady job. So while I'm at work, he'd be over there throwing down tracks at the studio.
Yeah.
They give me a scratch track or whatever, and then I just go in there and go at it, and I have a nickname from back in the day. Eric Rutan from Hate Eternal and Morbid Angel gave me this because we recorded 2 Soilent Green records, one in his
Yeah.
house studio. We were the last band to record in the house studio. And then when he moved to the Big Manor recording over there in Tampa, we we recorded an album over there too. So he said his Derek Roddy was one take Roddy, and he called me two take Tommy. So I was like two take Tommy. So most of my takes, well, most of them in two takes is funny. But like, I just go in there and like, I remember doing the first song on Sever the Wicked Hand, Isolation, Desperation. And man, that song is a ripper. It's one of my favorite songs of that album. I think it's very underrated, and we never played it live. And I didn't have anything written to that. And I just remember, like, it kind of gives me goosebumps. I just remember Kirk standing in front of me in the studio, and it's just he and I, and he's like, "Hey man, look, I got this riff, and it got everything down. It's pretty much written." And he goes, "I'm gonna play you the intro," and it was the harmonies. So he goes, "I just want you to keep a beat, keep timing when you ride cymbal." So basically, when he started off doing harmonies and me just keeping a 1, 2, 3, 4 standard count on the on the ride cymbal, it was basically that was all just like right off the top of my head, all those drum licks, all the drum fills in the beginning of that song. So it was like really fun because I like doing it like that sometimes too, but like also like going in being prepared, having songs written because I can go in and think out the songs and the parts and try to put the more appropriate drum parts that fit the song, because
Right.
I mean, who wants to go in there and rush it and like cram a bunch of parts together real fast, and then you don't want to make the song or the record sound rushed. I mean,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but to be honest with you, I mean, I've been going totally like I feel like I'm regressing, and I kind of do it on purpose because I definitely regress as far as listening to music. I'm going I'm going backwards and still listening to older and older stuff. I'm even buying like Santana and Foreigner and like, dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I just bought my first Ramones CD,
Yeah. Yeah.
Road to Ruin. It's crazy. So I'm going backwards on stuff that I'm just opening up and going backwards. But I try to stay up with the times and like, but I'm kind of going the less is more route ever since I started really appreciating John Bonham as I got older.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I started understanding that he was just a really good barbaric meat and potatoes, solid rock drummer. But then when you look at the flip side of it, he actually was really more than a meat and potatoes guy because when he really needed to play subtle and have grace notes, I mean, dude, you listen to some of those blues songs, my God,
He could
you
do it
know,
all.
he just
Yeah.
knew how to bring it down when you had to bring it down. And it's like, dude, true great rock drummers only do that, and it's like, and I try to keep that in mind. It's like, I told Kirk, I'm like, man, I'm really getting into like production and stuff these days. And I'm like, I want to do things like sneak in things, like you don't hear or you can barely hear in the
Yeah.
background, like shakers or cowbells or little egg
Yeah.
shakers or whatever. Just
Yeah.
shit like that, I want to sneak in some stuff, and it's like some of the best and most biggest and legendary albums, biggest recordings have stuff like that, and you don't even realize it until you sit there and actually put your headphones on and like, man, when you listen to something with headphones on, you can really break things down.
Are you aware? And I don't know how active you are on social media, but I have seen lots of videos made articles written, comparing who the heaviest bands are out there, and consistently Crowbar is always at the top of these lists or winning these competitions. If you want to, for lack of a better word, calling them competitions. I watched a video. These guys broke down. They had like brackets almost. This band versus this band, and then you move on to the next round or whatever. And Crowbar consistently, and I think that particular one, Crowbar won. It's kind of cool to think though that because I used to equate heaviness with a lot of speed, a lot of blast beats, a lot of growling lyrics. But heaviness, as I've gotten older, I've realized it takes on a lot of different forms. Man, Crowbar isn't the fastest band, and certainly not playing with blinding speed or maybe the most ferocious band.
Exactly.
But I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid. I think Crowbar is the heaviest band.
I gotta come clean with you. I never ever was a big Crowbar fan until I got into Crowbar. I never really understood it until I got the gig. And when I got the gig and got in the band and started learning the songs, I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, this is what it's about. It's the tune low, the play slow. It's like the less is more. And that's what to complete your last question was. That's why I kind of like play. I try to do really simple drum parts on the record for like on purpose. I try to keep it really simplistic and go like the less is more route. I've really gotten into the John Bonham like type of playing, like the really heavy pounding, simple. But I like putting in tasteful drum fills here and there, drum lick here and there. Because I know if Soilent Green ever does anything again, it's gonna be all balls out.
Right.
No holds
You're gonna
barred,
push it.
and it's gonna be like completely like a tidal wave over the top, and it's like you can't even hold back in Soilent Green. So that's why I try to do that style of playing in Crowbar more so nowadays than ever, because of the other flip side of the coin, with Soilent.
And now, do you still enjoy, because you've been at this a long time? I know as you get older, maybe sometimes people don't want to be away from, the comfort of home as much. Do you still like the touring aspect? And what's a comfortable itinerary? How long do you like to be gone away from home for?
That's a good question, because I was just about to give you that. I like, we've done some 3-week tours sometimes, but usually we're good for like a 1-month tour. Most bands do like 1-month tours. I can recall back to like 2008 with Soilent Green. Like I just called it road dogging it. We were road warriors. Like literally Soilent Green was just like, we were literally tour hopping. Like we didn't even go home for like 3 months. We went from like the Hate Eternal tour at Soilent Green, and then we jumped on the God Forbid and Death Angel tour, and then we had to leave that tour like 5 days early or 3 days early to go onto the Adult Swim Cartoon Network tour, which was Death Clock, Chimera, and Soilent Green. And geez, dude, that was like 4.5 to 5 weeks, and almost every show was sold out. It was insane. We were out there literally for like, I think it was like between 90 and 100 days straight. Didn't even come home.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And man, it's like, honestly, we went out, we came home for a little while in the summer after that, and we did like 2 weeks with Hatebreed, 2 weeks with Testament, a month with Black Dahlia in December. Dude, I slipped and fell in Canada and busted my shoulder up in the snow on that tour. And I was like, dude, I remember coming home from that tour on the last night. And I just remember having to drive, get behind the wheel. And Ben was like, hey, I need a relief driver. And I could literally feel like the body aches, like the flu, full-blown flu coming on with a blown out right shoulder. And I was just like, man, I honestly think some of that had a big part in me taking a long break with Soilent Green. It was like, people just don't realize how rough that it can be out there, especially when you're out there in a van and stuff. And it's like, we've had 2 accidents and just, man, all that stuff, but it mounts up. But it's amazing that you can still do it the way you do it and want to do it because you love playing music and you love playing drums. And, I'm usually good for like, I'm happy with the 3-week tours and the 1-month tour, but man, anything more than 1 month gets pretty long. It seems, like we've done 5-week tours and stuff like that too, but it just gets to be a little lengthy, and especially when when you're 50s and stuff. And I remember not touring for a couple years before the COVID. when all the COVID stuff happened. And I remember I was like 50. I made 50 that year. And I told Kirk, because it was like 2 years, the album pretty much was recorded and just sat there collecting dust.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that album was recorded in 2020, but it
Yeah.
didn't come out to 2022. So man, it's like I'm kind of ready to like push on them to be like, hey, I'm trying to get them to write some stuff because I'm like, I'm just ready to record now. It's like it's been 5 years since we did anything, but thank God I've gotten to go into a studio with a band called Vermilion Whiskey from Lafayette, and they hired me and paid me for rehearsals and my time in the studio, man. They were very professional, and it was amazing, dude. They're a great band, more like a southern rock metal type of band, and they're solid, and that was the first thing I noticed. So I actually got lucky and got to do one extra recording since the Crowbar album. I recorded the album with Vermilion Whiskey, and I think it was maybe the year before that, 2021. After the Crowbar album, I went into a studio in the country, which was where Kansas recorded Left Overture, which is the song, which is the album that Carry On Wayward Son's on.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh
dude, this
yeah.
is like you talking legendary stuff.
Yeah.
And I went in there. Shane's brother, our bass player for Crowbar, his brother was working there in the studio. He literally worked and lived in the back. And man, I got to go in the studio and I literally did the whole 7-minute track When the Levee Breaks on a green Bonham sparkle kit that I own because I have a orange Vista light and I have the green sparkle.
Yeah.
So we took the green sparkle in there and dude, he was nice enough to let me go in there and record that song, under the radar. We just kind of went in and did it in a
Yeah.
few
That's
hours.
cool.
I did it in like a take and a half. After I messed up, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh man, I was like, don't freak. I'm like, you got this. So I went there and I just did the whole take and the second time, the two take Tommy. I did the whole
Yeah.
take the second time, and it's amazing, dude. We're kind of just sitting on that recording of me on that green sparkle, and like the whole point of doing it was like trying to really get that real bottom drum sound. Because let's face it, nobody's ever able to get that sound, and
You're
I,
right.
I
Yeah.
figured I'm like, hey, you know what? If you take the same replica drum kit of that drum kit into the studio, and I mean, dude, what better place to do it at studio in the country? It's
Yeah.
like it's a legendary song in a legendary studio on a legendary drum kit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I was literally in there like pinching myself, going, wow, man. I'm like, is this
I can see
happening?
I can see how excited you are. I can see how excited you are about it.
Dude,
Yeah.
I could even look, man. I even show you a picture. I got a picture on the side right here of the from the studio
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
with the
Yeah.
kit.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
great. It's
literally,
great how
man.
it's great how music does that to us, man. It transports us. You know what I mean?
But so we're sitting on that recording, and I'm trying to like pressure Kirk and them to like finish it off and put some guitar tracks to it. And I want to talk to like Chris Nail, that the original drummer for Exalter, owns a music store. It's called C&M. But Chris and Melvin, I want to call up Mel and ask him to see like maybe if he knows any harmonica players because we want somebody to do some real harmonica tracks on it and like make
Boost it
this
up a little bit. Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
sound legit, make it sound,
Yeah.
but it's literally like me just playing to the song. So it's the exact replica, 7-minute song, the whole thing. So, but we're gonna try to maybe like who knows, maybe we could throw that in like a bonus track or something on the next
Yeah.
Crowbar record or something.
So are you excited about this upcoming tour now? Going out with I Hate God. I've had Jimmy
Oh
Bauer on
man,
the podcast a couple of times,
totally.
man.
I'm totally excited, completely excited. Dude, I love Jimmy. He's such a happy-go-lucky guy, man, and
Yeah.
he's always just been one of my favorite people and my favorite like local drummers and just favorite drummers in general. I tell him all the time. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, dude, I'm serious. I'm like, he's just got that less is more kind of groove,
Yeah.
and that's what I like. And he's got that Bonham style and groove, and that's what I've always tried to aim at with Crowbar and stuff. And pay tribute to all the other drummers that have been in Crowbar and make it sound like you know Crowbar and myself at
Yeah.
the same time. But like, dude, I'm excited to go out with Jimmy and all those guys because we're friends, with with all those guys
Yeah.
forever. You
Yeah.
know, we've been friends with them forever. And I mean, you know, Brian's not in the band anymore, but and God bless little daddy, you know, Joey's gone now. And they have Aaron on drums. And I know
Yep.
Aaron too, but he's a great guy and a great drummer. So it should be fun, man, to go out with those guys. They're like our brothers, you know.
Yeah, and I have not yet experienced either I Hate God or Crowbar live, but you guys will be coming to Syracuse, New York, in my backyard, man, in August. So I'm planning on it.
Awesome, man. Well, you know, I think from what I understand, this tour's been like in demand. People have been like, "Hey, why don't I got and Crowbar got on tour together?" And it's like I
Yeah.
never really heard anything about it. But then again, I'm not on the internet. But Kirk
Y-
and them said this was like, you know, something that people have been asking for. So it's pretty crazy. Like half the shows are sold out, and I think three of the shows, we have to play two shows per day. We have a
Yeah,
now they have a matinee show for like three of the shows.
that's
It's
cool.
pretty
That's
crazy.
yeah,
So it's like it's literally like 28 shows in 25 days.
yeah, yeah. And so I want to get your opinion on what you think of what Pantera is doing now. Are
Oh
you a
man, I mean, I love it. You know, honestly, like it's a dream come true. I'm sure for a lot of people, or younger kids and younger fans
absolutely?
that never
Yeah.
got to see it. You know, because I actually got to see it, and I actually got to tour with Pantera with Soylent Green twice.
Yep.
And Kirk got the tour with Pantera Crowbar. And I mean, dude, Kirk and I jammed with Dime one night in the studio in the back where they recorded Reinventing the Steel. We jammed with him. I jammed on the brick drum kit, the one in Mouthful War video, the one with the
Yeah.
brick.
Yeah.
Literally, so it's like, dude, we don't realize how lucky and blessed we were, dude, to have that jam with him that night. It was so much fun. And it's like I lived it, but to see like all that come back and me and Phil being friends for a long time since like 84 and like bandmates in Christ Inversion.
Yep.
And it's just crazy to see him bring it back again. And you know, honestly, like I've never really said this publicly, but I had to pull him on the side at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival one day, and I was like, "Hey, man," I said, "Hey, dude," I said, "I gotta be honest with you." I said, "When you and Rex started making some posts, you know," I said, "I got a call and a bunch of text messages started flooding my phone with like, hey, did you see this?" And they were like, Pantera getting back together reunion. And they were like, well, what's up? You know, like, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What's up? They're like, well, dude, are you going to get the gig or what? And I was like, wait, huh? And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, like it never crossed my mind. I'm like, I never ever once ever thought of that, you know, whatever, what the possibilities could have been. But like, so with that being said and done, I pulled Phil on the side, and he and I were talking one day at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, and he's like, before I could even finish the sentence, he literally interrupted me and stopped me and cut me off, and he was like, "What if you was gonna get the gig or not? Like your friends were texting you?" I said, "Yeah." I said I had people asking me if I was gonna get the gig. So he like kind of stood back and scratched his head and his chin, and he looked back and he's like, "Man," he's like, "You know, I'll be honest with you, there was only three people that even crossed my mind." And, you know, I don't know if it was Rex's mind too, but he's like, it was Charlie Benante one. He goes, you were two, and Gene Hoglan was three. He goes, dude, we never thought about any other drummers. He's like, and I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my God. I'm like, a lightning bolt literally could have hit me, probably
Yeah.
dropped me, and I'd have died right there, happy man. So,
Yeah. That's
hey
pretty
man,
good
you know,
company. Yeah.
it's
That's
pretty,
extremely good company.
it's pretty, you know, pretty grateful knowing that, you know, hey, dude, I was considered for that, but
Yeah.
you
And you
know.
make a good point too, because a whole new generation of people is getting to experience it. I know it was a polarizing topic when they first got together, and obviously people are going to trash stuff, you know what I mean? And people are going to have their
Dude,
opinions on stuff, but
Charlie is one of the best drummers in the business, and honestly, I'm so glad that they gave him the gig because I mean, dude, he deserves it. He played his ass off his whole career. He's
yeah.
influenced drummers like myself
Yeah.
and thousands of others.
Yeah, and for
You
people that
know,
don't know, and for people that don't know too, and I recently had a chance to see them open up for Metallica. You know, Zach and Charlie are not just hired guns, man. These are friends of
no, they
these are
were
part of the
like,
inner circle of
I mean,
Pantera.
Anthrax got the Cadillac Rock Box song on "We've Come
R-
for You All." You
Right.
know, dude, they were like insiders, man. Like, I got to witness the whole thing because in 1997 we toured three Florida shows and Mississippi Coast Coliseum in Biloxi. we played, which was like a homecoming for us. You know, it's an hour away from New Orleans, and
Right.
I've seen so many concerts there growing up. You know, and I literally got to play there with Pantera and Anthrax and Cold Chamber and Soilent Green that night. It was insane. But we had, you know, I got that right there too. But
That's history. That's history right there. Yeah. What a show.
but
What a lineup. Jesus.
but what's so crazy was you know, just getting to do those shows and experience that, and it's like you know, it's something that everybody dreams of, man. Getting to play arenas with one of your favorite bands, and you know, I thank Phil for that because man, he like totally he pulled some strings to get us on those shoes, you know.
Yeah.
And just like prior, like a year before, we got to do like 3 shows with Pantera. We did like with Clutch. It was Soilent Green, Clutch, and Pantera.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. I mean, they're a great band, and like you said, you know, they're not just hired guns. They were like really part of the. So I mean, I saw it go down in '97 when I was touring with Anthrax and Pantera. I watched it, you know, I watched how close those guys were and already were. And, you know, but like every night, I mean, the first night of the first of the 4 shows, like Phil literally would come grab me by the shirt and he's like, come on. And I'm like, where we're going? He's like, we're going to sit behind Benante. Let's go. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I know.
I
It's
was like a
exciting.
kid, man. He like took me. We sat behind Charlie every night for 4 nights straight, last 4 nights of the tour, and me and Phil watched Benante from behind. It was like, you know, it was a no brainer for him to put Benante on drums. Of course, man. He's one of the best in the business, you know. And like I said, he's one of my biggest influences in the thrash metal, you know, heavy playing drumming world. Him and Dave Lombardo were like, that was like my 2 staples, my 2 standards, you
Yeah.
know.
I think that's pretty. Yeah, I think those would be 2 names that would probably be a lot of people in the extreme metals standards. You know, I mean, like those are pretty good guys to emulate and look up
Yeah,
to.
man, crazy. I've got to meet both of them and tour with both of them, and it's pretty crazy. And they're both super nice guys. And literally, like, I got Dave Lombardo to sign the back of my Rude Rain Ride symbol. I got one of the Rain Ride symbols, and literally, man, he was like, Lombardo was gonna come grab me for like a coffee cocktail. We were gonna do like an espresso with a monster like energy coffee, like
Yeah,
real coffee, like just
yeah.
totally like I could see it blowing up like in the cup mixing,
It'd
you
be up
know.
for
And
days.
I totally had like food poisoning that night. It was the last night of the Suicidal Tendencies tour, and I was just like, Dave's tech came over to get me, and I was like, tell him thank you, but I can't do it, dude.
Yeah.
I was like in the bathroom every 5 minutes, man. I was like, that was a rough show that night.
And so, what are you at liberty to say? I probably asked Matt this, and again, I do so many interviews, I can't remember verbatim what Matt said. But what can you get to divulge to us about when we will see new Crowbar music? Obviously, Zero and Below is Zero and Below was the last album,
I
2022.
mean, I'd like to say by next year because I mean he's already talking about, you know, doing some jamming and writing and stuff. But I mean, we got these tours coming up, so it's gonna have to be in between tours, you know, because we got this tour in August and then supposedly there's something coming up in early next year, I think, in possibly February.
Okay.
So, you know, if that's the case, I mean, it's gonna have to be after that. So
Yeah.
it's like, man, I really would like not to wait so long to do it, but like if that's, you know, if that's the case, really start getting on some riff writing and throwing some drum tracks, and, you know, getting some stuff kind of arranged now that way, you know, you're not trying to like cram it all in this like 1 month period, you know, trying to record the whole record.
Right. And now it's been since 2008 since we've gotten a Soilent Green album. So I know
Yeah.
fans are probably extremely
Excuse me.
excited about the possibility of a new Soilent Green record.
Yeah, man. It, like, you know, excuse me. We've had some talks about it, you know, and we've literally, you know, dropped the ball on Metal Blade because we were pretty much signed to like a 3 album contract. And when we just stopped jamming and touring, it was like 1 album was
Right.
fulfilled. So
Yeah.
we basically kind of like dropped the ball on those guys. And I feel really bad about that. But, you know, who knows? Maybe we can get all that repaired and straight. And I don't think they hate us or are mad at us, anything like that. But you know, I'd definitely like to get that relationship reestablished again, and possibly, who knows, man, maybe we can, you know, get to writing an album. And, you know, going back to like what you were saying with Donovan Punch, you know, I've been hearing rumors that Brian been talking, so who knows, maybe he can come back and like help write the record. And I mean, oh my god, dude, I can't even imagine if him and Donovan Brian and Donovan get back together and start writing, I mean, this shit's gonna be like early Soylent Green, like going back to like demo days to our first few albums to like,
Yeah.
dude, really like out for blood, foaming at the mouth, Soylent Green.
Yeah.
You know, so man, it's like I'm kind of really excited to hear about that. So, you know, I don't know if it's just a rumor, but I'm hearing that they've been talking a lot. So, you know, if that's the truth, man, it's a possibility. Maybe they might be getting together and we can write some new songs and go record a new record with Donovan, even though he won't do any live shows. Even
Yeah.
maybe if it's just like a one-off show or something like that. Who knows, you know?
Well, I will say that people are certainly excited, and by no means have people forgotten Soylent Green. Because when I did the episode with Brian Patton, within hours the numbers were already through the roof. People wanted to hear what Brian had to say. The views were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
man.
it was one of my better viewed episodes. People were excited to hear from Brian.
It's pretty crazy, man. We got a really big underground following, and
Absolutely.
you know, Crowbar and Soilent Green are the only two bands from New Orleans that don't do any guitar solos. So I've been very fortunate to establish myself as a extreme metal drummer in the business with Soilent Green, and then re-establish myself as a kind of a less is more meat and potatoes player and Crowbar. And you know, I'm blessed to do it not once but twice. You know, and with Soylent, it's like, you know, it's like so extreme. The door's wide open to any possibilities, and I think that's why we never really broke up or anything like that. We just kind of like left the door wide open, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that's what most bands need to do, you know, because things can get really bitter, and people can get pretty nasty and say pretty nasty things
Sure.
to each other sometimes. And that's, you know, it's a band. It's like a family. It's a relationship, and you know, it's a lot of maintenance to keep a band together. So, but I mean, with that being said and done, I think, you know, with you know, everybody's in the right place now. I think we're all like really feeling it. And, you know, I really would like to talk to the people at Metal Blade again and give Mike Fairley a call and be like, hey, you know, look, sorry about the long hiatus, but like, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're
Mend
all
some
getting on,
fences.
well, you know, we're all trying to get on the same page. You know, Brian lives up on the East Coast, you know, Ben's out like in Washington. I'm back still in Louisiana, and Scott's still in Louisiana.
Yeah.
You know, so we're all
You're
spread out
scattered.
now.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so we jam, we do what we can do when we can do it, and you know, thank God we have a nice little jam room that Crowbar and Down share together, and you know, it's a good little facility. And when those guys come in town, you know, it's like, man, even COC's used it to jam. You know, we've let Crowbar's let Flesh Parade practice in there before. It's like the little room's been there for everybody, but it's a, you know, it's a great little rehearsal space, and Soylent uses it when those guys come in town. So you know, we try to do what we can do when we can do it, and they try to fly in town, you know, at least a, you know, 5 days to a week early or something, so we can get like a few practices in, you know.
Now, hear me out on this idea, and I might have bounced this off of somebody. So I had somebody on from the NOLA scene. I've had Vinny LaBella on. Like I said, I've had Jimmy Bauer on.
Oh,
I
I
can't
love
remember.
Vinny.
I can't remember who I had this conversation with, but
I've been
my
in his
idea
order
was
3 times.
yeah. But my idea was a traveling tour or a festival with just the NOLA bands. Imagine how great that would be. Exhorter, Soylent
you
Green,
know,
Down, Crowbar, Acid Bath. Get them all
that
on
would be
there.
amazing. You know, I think you're kind of
Amazing.
on to something there. I
I'm
think
on
you're
to
kind of on.
something.
Sorry about that. I'm getting the icons on the screen.
No, you're okay.
But
yeah, you're. You know what? That was true, Tommy. What you just said was a mouthful. I'm on to something.
well, honestly, I mean, I heard some rumors that somebody was trying to put something together like that locally, but like, I never ever heard anything more of that, and I was like, wow, what a great idea. You know, what a great idea that would be, and it never happened. I never heard anything more about it. So, but like, I thought something like that was going to happen this year, but who knows? I mean, maybe somebody's trying to put something in the works together where that would maybe happen. Like, if not late this year, like early next year. You
Well, because
know,
I feel like Phil, with his clout, and obviously, man, he's got roots in New Orleans, and because Pantera has had this resurgence, man, you know what I mean? You know, if those guys, anything they touch right now or choose the headline could potentially be big, and then you just take
yeah.
all those
Oh,
and then take
absolutely.
all those
Oh,
other bands
absolutely.
out. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they don't really need any of us. I mean,
right?
you know,
Right, but I
they
mean,
don't need they don't need any of our help, that's for sure. I mean, I've been kind of chirping in the air for a while, dude. It's like I'd
But
love
I
to
know,
go back out on the road with those guys.
but I know I have seen interviews where Phil is very, has a lot of New Orleans pride, though. He carries that with him.
Oh, absolutely,
He
man.
does.
No, he's like I said, dude, he's fulfilled a dream of mine, by taking Soylent Green out on the road.
Yeah,
And that was like, for me, oh, it was a big deal. Shit at the time, I think I was 26, 27 years old. So, I mean, geez, and dude, every teenage musician dreams about doing stuff like that. Or when you're a kid coming up and learning how to play music, it's like only things that you could hope for, wish for, and like dream of, and like for it to really happen was like, man, that was like, I think about it all the time. Like he don't even know how grateful I am for that,
yeah,
that we've had those times. And like I got to be, that's how I originally met Charlie Benante, and of course Vinnie Paul too. And I both times, both of those guys were super nice, and they signed both of my modern drummers. So I have one from Charlie Benante signed, said Tommy Killer fucking Blast Charlie Benante, and I got one from Vinnie Paul. It says "Kick some ass, Vinnie Paul."
yeah.
But so,
Timeless.
but dude, I got those two things. But it's like, man, it's like you said, yeah, it's all all that stuff's timeless, and I'm like still waiting for that next band to come out. It's like you don't hear about no more Panteras or Godsmacks or
You don't.
Slipknot
Yeah.
or or bands that are like really big like that. You don't that really leave an impact on the music scene. And I was even telling Phil that I was like, man, it's like maybe once every 10 years a band might come off and sweep the industry off its feet, you know?
Yeah, it's not nearly happening enough nowadays. But I am excited about this tour. It is falling on a Tuesday night in my area, a school night probably, but I will still be there, man,
Well,
despite having to work the
come
next
on
day.
out, man. Yeah.
I will be there. I will be there. Matt has graciously offered to take care of me if I want to
Yeah, we'll
show up,
take
man.
care of you, man. Don't worry about that. But
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I don't know if it's like a co-headline flip flop thing, but whatever it is, so maybe we'll be going on early that night. So
yeah.
you know,
I will
uh,
show up and hang. I will show up and hang.
maybe we can hang at
Yeah.
least catch a few songs of us and a few songs of EHG.
Yeah, I will be there, man. I will be there, and please thank your wife again for helping facilitate this
Oh,
interview, man.
absolutely,
Yeah, I mean
absolutely.
she's
She's
really
the
the
best.
unsung hero here, man. I was conversing with her, and
Oh
she was there
yeah.
to help me put all this together, man.
I think she's more metal than both of us. I mean, her brother played drums in Crowbar, and the other brother's the lead guitarist for Lillian Axe.
Yeah, yeah, I know. She was telling me about that the other day. Yeah, she was telling me when we were
Yeah,
texting
he's
back
a
and forth.
local legend, man. That dude's a virtuoso. He's so damn good, man. He really is.
Yeah,
He's like a Eddie Van Halen, local Eddie Van Halen of the scene, dude. He's really that good. He's classically inclined, but
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I'm super excited, man. I'm even more excited now that I've talked to you, man. I don't care if it's a Tuesday night. Be damned, I'm
Oh
going to
man,
be
just
there,
come out.
Tommy. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and I appreciate you doing this, man. It was really a pleasure
Oh
getting the
man,
chance to
look,
talk
I
to
had
you.
fun doing it. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk again soon, my friend. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Thank
All right.
you.
Later,
All right.
Tommy.
Peace.
Later. There he goes, folks. The legendary Tommy Buckley, the man putting down the beats for the mighty Crowbar. Need I say more? The answer to that is no, I needn't. All you got to do is say Crowbar. When you say the word Crowbar, when your band is called Crowbar, you know what you're going to get. And they very much are like a crowbar upside your head. If you don't know, go do your musical homework. Get on your streaming platform or whatever the hell you listen to music on, man. Dive into the Crowbar. Dive into the Soylent Green. I don't want to let Crowbar overshadow the fact that Tommy pulls double duty in the equally mighty Soylent Green. So and let's just call a spade a spade. The NOLA scene, the bands that have come out of there are absolutely amazing. I just rattled off a bunch of them in my idea for a traveling festival of NOLA bands, which I think, by the way, is a hell of an idea. And I wouldn't be offended if somebody steals it. Please, by all means, put these bands together, a big package, 7 or 8 of them, send them out on the road. The Lollapalooza of New Orleans. It would be amazing. It's just a great metal scene with great guys in that scene. I had the pleasure to have a lot of them on the podcast, and really hospitable, generous with their time. So I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Tommy's wife, Stacy, for helping put this together and facilitate it. I was talking with her and going through her to set up my interview with Tommy. So big shout out to her, man. Shout out to Crowbar. Shout out to I Hate God. Your boy Reckless Rex will be in the building when they come to the Lost Horizon in Syracuse, New York. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but I know it's coming up here in August. So I'm excited. That being said, hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Great chatting with Tommy Buckley. Appreciate him doing it. Again, your boy Reckless Rex, aka Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. Let's not forget that. I know I pointed it out to Tommy, and now I will point it out to you that I am the one and only love child of Diamond David Lee Roth. And soon, my lawyers have assured me, soon we will prove conclusively with DNA testing, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what we've all known. If we've tapped into PodScum and we learned anything, we do know that you are looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band, the peanut butter to your jam, Mr. Wham Bam, thank you, ma'am, adored by millions of fans. Wop boppa loo boppa wop bam bam shazam, hot damn. Look like the man, sound like the man, the smoldering good looks, the luscious blonde locks. Come on, folks, it should be undeniable. And I will also in August be catching Diamond Dave at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino here in upstate New York. I'm hoping for a teary-eyed father and son reunion. But as I said, Dave, up to this point in 52 years of my life, has been nothing but a deadbeat. Hasn't showed me the love and affection that a father should show his son. So, but you know what? Hey, it's his cross to bear, not mine. I have somehow managed to go on with my life and do what I do. And this is what I do. Bring you guys kick-ass podcasts, man. Listen, if Pops was in tune with what I was doing, he'd be proud. That much I do know. And I've actually tried to get him on this podcast. Obviously, unsuccessfully. Dave is probably a little too big for my little independent podcast here. But I digress. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. You guys know how I roll. It's raw, it's real, it's unfiltered. Nothing gets edited here. I'm a man of simple tastes and simple means. What you see is what you get here on PodScum. And what we just got was a kick-ass conversation with the mighty Tommy Buckley of the equally mighty Crowbar. So that being said, make sure to like and follow PodScum on Facebook. Again, the Facebook page is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum, two separate podcasts sharing the same Facebook. And if you're here on the channel, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to smash that notification bell to stay tapped in. And again, if you're here on the channel and you're a fan of the music, arts, and entertainment, check out the playlist for PodScum. There is a treasure trove of amazing conversations with musicians from many different genres, mostly hard rock, metal, punk rock, hardcore. But we've snuck some other ones in there as well. And if you're on the channel and you're a fan of pugilism, which your boy Reckless Rex lives for, then check out Off the Couch Boxing. There's also an amazing playlist there of legends, luminaries, world champions, fighters on the come up, something for everybody, literally on both podcasts. And I can say that with the utmost confidence. Go check out both podcasts. And remember to stay tapped in. And, of course, the one thing that I want you to really remember, and this is coming from your boy, the King of Sleaze, the one thing I really want you to take away from this is remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.